take a slow walk around the outside of your house this week. Not the yard, the house itself. Walk the edge where the foundation meets the soil and look at what is actually touching the wall. On most homes, you'll find at least one of these. A branch resting against the siding. A shrub that has quietly swallowed half a window. A green stem creeping up into the gutter. A row of evergreens that looked like little cones 3 years ago and now lean on the eaves. None of it looked like a problem the day it went in. Here's the part most people learn the expensive way. The costliest planting mistake usually isn't the plant itself. It's putting something where the house has to fight it season after season. For moisture, for airflow, for access, for room. Almost every plant in this video is a fine plant. Out in the yard, in the right spot, several of them are beautiful. Pressed against the wall of your home, they slowly turn into work, repair bills, and a Saturday you spend with a ladder and a pruning saw. So this is about 7 kinds of plant I would keep away from the foundation, the siding, the windows, and the equipment your house depends on. For each one, you'll hear exactly why it causes trouble up close and where it actually belongs instead. The fix is almost never rip it out and panic. It's usually move it, swap it, or give the house some breathing room. Let's start with the one people fall for because it looks like a postcard. A quick frame before the list because it makes every one of these easier to judge. A plant in a nursery pot is showing you its baby photo. The tag gives you a mature size, and that number is the one that matters, not the cute 3-gallon cone on the shelf. The other thing the tag rarely mentions is how the plant behaves over time, how wide it really gets. Whether it runs underground, climbs, suckers, or sends roots looking for water. Beside the house, those habits stop being garden trivia and start touching your siding, your gutters, your drain lines, and your air conditioner. You don't need to memorize botany for this. You just need to look at the wall and ask 3 questions. How big will this get, in width as well as height? Will it trap water or block air against the house? And will it block something I need to reach, like a window, a vent, a meter, or the spot where a worker has to stand? Keep those in mind and let's go. Number 1, self-clinging vines. The picture is gorgeous. An old brick house wrapped in ivy, looking like a college campus or an English cottage. It's one of the most romantic things you can do to a wall, and it's also where a lot of homeowners create a slow, hidden mess. The trouble is how these vines hold on. English ivy climbs with tiny aerial rootlets that work into any crack or seam they can find. On sound, modern masonry, the risk is lower than it is on painted wood, stucco, soft older mortar, or brick that's already a little weak. But lower risk is not the same as no maintenance. Once a self-clinging vine is allowed to cover a wall, it can hide cracks, hold damp foliage against the surface, and become difficult to remove cleanly later. The rootlets get in, the vine thickens year by year, and what was a hairline gap becomes a real one. Pull established ivy off later, and it can take paint, mortar, and chunks of the surface with it. Boston ivy and Virginia creeper are gentler. They cling with little adhesive pads instead of boring roots, so they're far less likely to harm solid masonry. But every self-clinging vine shares 2 problems on a house. It holds a damp blanket of leaves flat against the wall, which slows drying and feeds rot and mildew on whatever is underneath. And it doesn't know where to stop. It slips under shingles and siding laps and lifts them. It climbs into the gutters and clogs them. And it covers the very surfaces you need to inspect, so a problem can grow for years where you can't see it. There's a regional note here, too. English ivy is listed as invasive in parts of the Pacific Northwest, the Southeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. So in some areas, it's a poor choice anywhere, not only on the house. So where does the cottage look belong? On a support? Not on the cladding. Set a sturdy trellis or a panel of lattice 6 to 8 inches off the wall and grow the vine on that. The gap lets air move, keeps leaves off the siding, and lets you swing the panel away to paint or inspect. If you want the look against brick, use the calmer adhesive pad types. Keep them well below the roofline and gutters, and trim them back every year so they never reach the parts of the house you can't easily get to. That covers the plants that climb. The next one doesn't climb. It just gets enormous, far faster than people expect. Number 2, fast-growing screening evergreens. This one starts at the garden center, in the privacy trees section, with a tag that says fast-growing screen. You buy 3 little cones. You want them to fill in quickly, so you tuck them in close to the house along a blank wall. 3 feet from the foundation feels reasonable when the plant is knee-high. Leyland cypress is the classic example. University of Georgia Extension describes Leyland cypress as a very fast grower, often 3 to 4 feet a year when young, and UGA sources commonly place mature landscape trees in the range of 40 to 60 feet tall and 20 to 30 feet wide, with some regional guidance warning they can become even larger in the right conditions. Either way, the point is the same. This is a tree-sized screen, not a foundation shrub. Green giant arborvitae is in the same heavyweight class. These are screening trees for the open yard, not foundation shrubs. Beside the house, a few things go wrong at once. The tree blocks the window it's planted under, then the eave, then the gutter, and you're pruning a moving target every year just to keep the wall usable. It needs full sun and good airflow to stay healthy, and a tree jammed against a wall and its neighbors gets neither, which is exactly when these evergreens start browning out and dying from fungal disease. And the sheer mass of a mature trunk and root flare that close to a foundation is simply more than that spot was meant to hold. The mistake underneath all of it is buying for this spring instead of for the mature size on the tag. A plant that's perfect as a screen out at the property line is the wrong plant against the wall. If you want green structure close to the house, choose something that stays small on purpose. Narrow, well-behaved evergreens like a columnar holly, a dwarf globe arborvitae, or compact inkberry give you year-round form without eating the wall, and their mature width actually fits the bed. And if you genuinely want a tall screen, plant the big evergreen out in the yard, spaced for the width it will become, where it can have the sun and air it needs. Measure the bed, check the mature width on the tag, and let that number make the decision. Those problems happen above ground, where you can at least see them coming. The next plant does its worst work where you can't see it at all. Number 3, running and suckering plants. Some plants don't spread by getting bigger. They spread by traveling underground and popping up somewhere new. And that habit turns ugly fast when the somewhere new is under your slab, your porch, or your walkway. Running bamboo is the headline here. University of Maryland Extension describes how its rhizomes, the underground stems, can run almost indefinitely, sending up new canes along the way. A mature running stand becomes a small forest, and the shoots are tough enough to push up through turf and to punch through gaps in pavement. Beside the house, the rhizomes follow the path of least resistance, which is often the loose soil and existing joints under a porch, a patio, or a foundation bed. They're not usually cracking a sound foundation open. They're exploiting the gaps that are already there, sliding under hardscape, and coming up where you really don't want them. And once bamboo is established under a structure, getting it out is a long, expensive fight. A proper rhizome barrier is not a casual edging strip. University of Maryland Extension recommends barrier material 30 to 36 inches wide, installed vertically, with about 6 to 8 inches left above ground so rhizomes trying to jump the barrier can be seen and cut. Even then, the edge has to be checked, and a number of towns and states regulate running bamboo, so check your local rules before anyone plants it. It's not only bamboo. Plenty of woody plants sucker, sending up shoots from spreading roots far from the original trunk. Staghorn sumac and some poplars and aspens do it, and trumpet vine is notorious for popping up through beds and pavement cracks yards away from where it was planted. Near the house, that habit turns one plant into a recurring chore. If you love the bamboo look, the safer route is a clumping type rather than a running one. Clumping bamboos like Fargesia in cold climates or Bambusa in warm ones expand slowly from a tight center instead of running. If you must grow a running bamboo, it belongs well away from the house, inside a real rhizome barrier, with an annual walk around the edge to cut off any escapees. For suckering shrubs and trees, keep them out of foundation beds and give them open ground where a stray shoot is just easy to mow off. Now, from the plants that travel under the house to the ones that simply sit against it and never let it dry out. Number 4, dense plants that keep the wall damp. This one rarely looks like a mistake. It looks tidy. A thick skirt of evergreen ground cover or a dense low shrub mounded right up against the base of the wall, green and lush, hiding the boring concrete. The problem is everything happening behind that green skirt, where neither you nor the sun ever looks. The base of your wall needs to breathe and dry out. When you pack dense foliage and deep mulch right against the siding, you trap a band of damp, still air at the most vulnerable part of the house. The National Park Service's Building Preservation Guidance documents exactly this. A shrub planted tight against the foundation blocked airflow, held moisture in the wood trim and siding, and rotted the shingles and boards behind it. The fix in that case was simple and a little sad. Remove the plant, because the plant was the cause. That same damp, sheltered band is a gift to pests. Iowa State Extension's advice is to keep mulch several inches off the foundation and never let it cover windowsills or touch the siding, because that buffer is part of how you keep moisture and insects away from the wall. University of Kentucky entomologists go further and specifically list vines, ivy, and dense plantings touching the house, along with firewood stacked against the foundation, as conditions to avoid, since they give insects a sheltered bridge straight to the structure. English ivy mounding up the foundation wall manages to combine several of tonight's problems at once. None of this means a bare, ugly strip of dirt. It means a little discipline at the wall. Keep soil and mulch pulled back so they never touch the siding or bury the bottom edge of the wall. Then give the plants themselves more room than that. A narrow, clean band at the foundation, with the real planting starting farther out, looks intentional and lets the wall dry. For larger shrubs, think in feet, not inches, so air can move and you can still inspect the base of the house. And keep the larger plants set back, ideally a couple of feet off the house, so air can move along the base. So far, these have been slow, quiet problems. The next one can hurt you the day you plant it. Number 5, thorny shrubs and spiky plants near doors and windows. Some plants earn their spot with thorns. As a security hedge along a property line, a wall of something prickly has its place. The mistake is putting that armor where people live and move, under windows, beside doors, and along the narrow path you brush past every single day. Japanese barberry is a good one to know about, for 2 reasons. First, it is regulated in several places. Penn State notes that it is illegal to sell, propagate, or intentionally plant Japanese barberry in Pennsylvania, except for certain exempt sterile varieties, and Michigan has added it to its restricted species list starting January 1st, 2028. So before you treat it like an ordinary foundation shrub, check your own state's rules. It is also a plant with tick habitat concerns in some regions, which makes it an especially poor choice to crowd around a foundation where people weed, walk, and work. Second, it's covered in thorns, and so is firethorn, another vigorous shrub people plant against the house and regret reaching past. The placement danger is real and specific. A thorny shrub mounding up under a bedroom window can block a basement egress window, the one a person has to climb out of or a firefighter has to climb into in an emergency. A thorny plant crowding a doorway or a walkway snags clothing, scratches arms, and grabs the trash bags you carry past it. Spiky plants like yucca and agave have the same issue beside a path. None of that is a problem out at the edge of the yard. It's a problem the moment it's at arm's reach by a door or a window. If you want that shrub for security, plant it at the property line or under a ground floor window you never need to open from outside, not at an egress window or a doorway. And if you just wanted a tidy shrub in that spot, and the thorns were a bonus you didn't really need, skip them. A native inkberry holly, a dwarf fothergilla, or a compact viburnum gives you the same neat form with nothing to draw blood, and in barberry's case, nothing that's banned in your state. Keep anything sharp away from windows, doors, and the routes you walk. That's the danger you can feel. The next one is the one that shows up as a plumber's bill. Number 6, large water-seeking trees near pipes and pavement. A big shade tree close to the house feels like a gift. The wrong big tree close to the house, planted over the wrong things, is a slow-motion repair fund. A handful of fast, water-loving trees are the usual culprits: weeping willow, silver maple, hybrid poplar, and American elm. Their roots chase moisture and they spread far, often well past the edge of the branches. Here's the careful part, because it matters. Tree roots generally do not drill through sound, sealed pipe, and they do not usually punch open a solid foundation by themselves. What they do is exploit weakness. Old pipe joints, tiny cracks, leaking sewer laterals, and moist soil pockets are exactly what roots are looking for. Morton Arboretum puts it plainly: pipes being broken by root growth is rare, but blockage of already damaged older pipes is not uncommon. It also notes that roots are rarely the direct cause of foundation damage, though in shrink-swell soils and shallow foundations, large roots can contribute by drying the soil and adding to subsidence problems. That is still reason enough to keep willows, silver maples, poplars, and other large water-seeking trees away from old sewer laterals, drain lines, pavement, and the house. The mistake is planting a future giant by the house because the sapling is small and the spot has room today. It won't have room in 10 years. The rule of thumb is simple: the larger and thirstier the tree, the farther it belongs from the house, pavement, septic, and drain lines. Do not place willows, silver maples, or poplars where their mature root zone will overlap old pipes, sewer laterals, patios, or the foundation. Before digging, call 811 for public utility marking. And remember that private lines, irrigation, septic, and some drain lines may require your own records or a private locator. Near the house, choose trees that stay smaller and behave better, like a redbud, a serviceberry, a dogwood, a crepe myrtle, or a Japanese maple. You still get a tree by the house, you just don't get the plumber on speed dial. There's one more category, and it's the one homeowners trip over most often, because the plant seems so harmless. Number 7, nice shrubs planted where the house needs access. This is the everyday version of the whole video. Not an invasive monster, not a giant tree, just a perfectly nice shrub, planted a little too close to something the house actually needs you to reach. It usually starts with foundation evergreens, spaced for how they look on planting day, not for their mature width. A row of junipers, a big yew, or a vigorous holly goes in 3 feet apart under the windows, and within a few years, they've grown into each other and into the wall. Now they block the window, so the room is darker and the glass never gets cleaned. They cover the downspout, so you don't notice when the gutter overflows behind them. And if the shrub is a yew, it's worth knowing that the foliage and the seeds inside the red berry-like arils are seriously toxic to people, pets, and livestock if eaten, which is something to weigh when one is swallowing a window beside a play area. The bigger access problem is the equipment. Homeowners love to hide the air conditioner behind a shrub, and it's one of the most expensive plant placements there is. That outdoor condenser works by pulling huge amounts of air across its coils to dump your home's heat. Choke it with foliage and it overheats, runs harder, costs more, and wears out sooner. HVAC manufacturers and technicians generally recommend keeping plants and screening 2 to 3 feet back on every side and about 5 feet of clear space above the unit, and checking your specific unit's manual to be sure. The same logic applies to dryer vents, gas meters, electric meters, and the access panel to a crawl space. Bury those behind a shrub and you've blocked the meter reader, the repair tech, and yourself on the day something goes wrong. So before a shrub goes near the wall, check the mature width on the tag against the space you actually have, and pick a truly compact variety if the spot is tight. Keep an arm's length maintenance path along the foundation so you can paint, inspect, and clean. Give the air conditioner its 2 to 3 feet on all sides. And never let a planting cover a window you might need to open, a meter someone has to read, or a vent the house has to breathe through. A plant that hides an ugly box is only a good idea until the box needs help. Here's the whole video boiled down to a 30-second check you can do before anything else goes in beside the house. It'll save you more than any single plant choice. Read the mature size on the tag, the width especially, and picture the plant at that size against this exact wall. Step back and find the things you must keep clear: every window, the air conditioner, the dryer vent, the gas and electric meters, the downspouts, the crawl space access, and the path you'd stand in to paint or inspect. Leave the wall room to breathe, with a small open gap between mulch or foliage and the siding. Ask whether the plant climbs, runs underground, suckers, or sends thirsty roots looking for water. And if it does any of those, give it open ground away from the foundation and the drain lines. And when a plant is genuinely big, thirsty, thorny, or aggressive, that's not a reason to never own it. It's a reason to plant it out in the yard, where it can be the great plant it is, instead of beside the house, where it becomes your problem. The plant that survives the longest beside your house isn't always the plant that belongs there. A lot of these are tough, vigorous, good-looking plants. That toughness is exactly what lets them lean on the siding, run under the porch, and choke the air conditioner for years without dying. Easy and right are not the same thing. So don't start at the garden center this week. Start at your own wall. Walk that perimeter, find the one plant that's touching the house, blocking a window or crowding the AC, and decide whether it gets moved, swapped, or trimmed back to give the house some room. That one fix is worth more than a cart full of new plants. Tell me what's growing closest to your house right now, and roughly how far it sits from the siding. And which side gives you the most trouble? The shady north wall that never dries, or the hot south side where everything wants to grow into the windows? It's interesting to see what people are dealing with. And if you'd rather measure once than fight a plant for 10 summers, subscribe. The whole idea here is plant advice that thinks about your house, not just your flower bed.